Good day, Ignatians. Welcome to the new normal education and welcome to my subject again. Practical Research 2, and I am your PR2 instructor again, Sir Kevin. Come on, let us study the new lesson for today. Benefits and beneficiaries of the research study and presenting written statement of the problem. Citing benefits and beneficiaries. So, in this study, para mapadali at mapasimple, ang ibig sabihin nito, ito ay tinatawag natin significance of the study. So, pag sinabing significance of the study, sino ang mga beneficiaries ng magiging result ng study mo? So, sabi dito, this part informs the reader on how the study will contribute to the well-being of a person or progress of a group or society in general. So, as a researcher, magbe-benefit to sa'yo dahil sinabi ko nga na kailangan ang study mo ay align sa field na meron ka. Kung ikaw ay isang human student, dapat ito ay align sa mga social sciences, align sa mga politics. Kapag naman ikaw ay STEM, ito ay align sa science, sa mathematics, sa engineering. So, kailangan align sa field nga, sa forte mo, and magbe-benefit sa mga tao na katulad doon sa field mo. And then, makakatulong din siya sa mga future researchers para maging reference din siya. So, ito ay nakafocus doon sa mga makabuluhang tao na kailangan itong study mo. So, ang may example dito na Zika virus. Yung Zika virus daw sa isang research study, the findings can benefit. First and foremost, the victims themselves and their respective families. So, ibig sabihin kapag ikaw as a chemist, nag-research ka ng what are those ingredients or chemicals that you must use to create a vaccine or antibody na makakatulong dun sa mga victims, dun sa mga patients, and makakatulong din dun sa mga families nila, and then makakatulong din sa inyo as chemist kasi merong bagong knowledge kayo natuklasan. And makakatulong din siya doon sa mga future researchers. And then ano pa ba? Paano kapag mga descriptive method naman? So yung mga descriptive method, like for example, yung ano ba yung effects ng smoking cigarette doon sa students' behavior. So sino-sino ba matutulungan nun or sino mga magbe-benefit nun? Syempre yung families nung nag-smoking, yung estudyante mismo, yung teachers, administrators, ang library, makakatulong din dun sa mismong school. Bakit? Kasi magiging reference sila to. Magiging reference. And then for future researchers nga, and you as a researcher. So, that's it. That's significance of the study na kailangan iilagay at i-insert doon sa thesis mo. Okay, next. Examples of benefits and beneficiaries section from actual studies. So for example, here we have the task-based language teaching and its effect on second language acquisition on college freshman student. So ibig sabihin, yung task-based ba daw na tinuturo ng teacher? Kasi pag sinabi kasi nating task-based, ito yung student-centered. Kumbaga, laging kumikilos ang mga estudyante, lagi silang may activity. Ano ba daw effect nito para ma-improve yung kanilang second language acquisition? Yung second language, ito yung tinatawag natin yung English. Kasi, di ba, may tayo tinatawag na English as a second language. So, may improve ba o may enhance ba? Base sa kapag lagi silang naka-hands-on activity. So, sino-sino nga ba daw ang So, una, dito, yun pa rin ulit ang title natin, kailangan natin ng brief introduction about dun sa significance of the study. So, sabi dito, choosing an appropriate language teaching methodology for a group of learners is a responsibility of language educators. With the teacher's explicit and implicit knowledge of language acquisition and knowledge learning processes, they can select theoretically sound and more effective pedagogy appropriate for their learners. However, implementing a chosen methodology necessitates understanding its principles as well as its strengths and weaknesses. So, yung nabasa kong to ay short introduction lang nung about dun sa task-based language teaching. So, pinaliwanag lang niya kung anong purpose nun doon sa second language acquisition. Okay, so sabi dito, this study may be significant to the language teachers, the language learners, and the concerned educators. So bakit ba silang lahat ang magbe-benefit? So tingnan natin sa next slide. Okay, so ang una daw magbe-benefit ay ang teachers. Bakit ba ang teachers? Sabi dito, magiging mas aware daw sila sa task-based. And then kung may makikitang improvement ay matutulungan sila kung ano ba talaga ang mga specific strategies ang kailangan nilang ibigay sa mga estudyante kung ito ay kulang pa or kailangan pa nga na improvement. Sabi dito, mapaparealize daw nila na ang task ay magagamit for pedagogical tools. Ang sinabi pedagogical tools, ito yung mga teaching strategy or yung teaching method. So ayun nga, aware of the main goal of TBL, they could provide more opportunities for student interaction in the classroom to enhance their language learning. So, syempre, ito ay makakatulong nga sa mga teachers and may enhance ang kanilang pedagogy skills. So yun, matutulungan din sila mag-motivate na ma-motivate at ma-encourage ang mga student na maging competent sa second language. Okay, so meron tayo ditong language learners. So, language learners, these are the students. So, eto rin ang ating mga respondents dahil sila ang ating mga respondents sa pagkukuha natin ng data, sila ang magbe-benefit ng study din. So, sabi dito, magiging aware din sila para sa usefulness ng English language as a tool for communication and a tool for understanding course content. Kasi, di ba, syempre, English ang lagi nating ginagamit. Like for example, mag-apply tayo sa trabaho. English din as a second language magagamit natin for interacting with other foreign countries. Kasi English ay mahalaga. Kasi nga ito ang ating second language. So mas mapapa-improve nila and may enhance ang kanilang communication skills gamit itong language na to. And then aware din sila kung paano gamitin ang language na English. And then highly motivated to acquire and learn the English language as their second language. So mas magiging interactive sila. So kukuha din sila dito ng mga reference kung ano ba talaga ang dapat gawin para mas ma-improve ang kanilang speaking skills. Okay, so next we have the administration. So ito yung tinatawag natin na administrators or admins. So sila ang nag-encourage to include the long-term development plan, a faculty development program where faculty could develop their teaching competence and enhance the use of effective language teaching methods. Further, they could implement policies to encourage faculty to develop instructional materials for the offering of English courses based in the learner's language needs academically and professionally. So sabi dito, sila ang tumutulong sa faculty members na ma-develop at maging competent sila sa mga specific teaching strategies na kailangan ipato sa mga estudyante at para ma-improve ang kanilang English skills. So, ang administrators, sila ang nagbibigay ng mga policies kung ano yung mga dapat i-implement para mas maging competent ang mga estudyante sa second language. Next, we have the textbook writers. So, ang textbook writers, sila ang mga nagsusulat doon sa modules, sa libro, at sa learner's material na tinatawag natin. So sabi dito, magiging aware daw sila sa task-based language teaching din base dun sa ating title as a language teaching methodology. So textbook writers would approach the preparation of learning materials based on these pedagogical framework. Inclusion in their textbook suggested communicative tasks to be performed by the learners in the classroom would provide the students with the opportunities to use the language for communication. These learning strategies relating the grammatical structure to the communicative function in real situation and real time could possibly enhance the learner's communicative proficiency. So since sila ang naglalagay nga doon sa textbook ay nagpo-provide sila ng mga strategies din katulad ng mga teachers, so magiging aware sila sa task-based language teaching na kung saan ang ilalagay nila dun sa mga textbook ay pang task-based and hahanap din sila ng mga specific method para mas ma-increase ang competency ng mga estudyante sa second language. So laging aware lang din kasi magbe-benefit din sila. Next, we have the curriculum writer. So, yung curriculum, ito yung pinakakabuuan ng proseso ng mga subject courses na merong proper sequence na kung saan dito nakikita ang ano ba yung pagkakasunod-sunod na dapat ituro ng mga teachers para ma-implement na ma-encourage din ang mga estudyante na matuto sa English and then maging competent sila and proficient. And then, sabi dito, knowing the communicative proficiency learners need, curriculum writers have to design language courses which would enhance learners' communicative skill, preparing them for their career work. So, mas maganda na the rest ng subjects na hindi Filipino ay gagawin nilang English na ang English ang content para mas laging naging nakatutok at nakafocus ang mga estudyante din sa language na to. So mas na-enhance ang mga estudyante kapag laging meron silang nakikitang English and nade-develop din ang kanilang vocabulary words. So the course description should include not only the subject content but also the communicative skills, both macro and micro, to be acquired, developed, and how to teach these in the best possible manner. So, kaya lagi doon may activities para sa magandang interaction at napapractice din ng mga students ang communication gamit ang second language. So, let us now move on to presenting statement of the problem. So, kailangan muna mag-create ka ng brief introduction para sa iyong SOP. Pero bago yon, pag sinabi nating SOP, ito ay ang pinaka-importante sa thesis output. Bakit? Dahil ito ang ginawa mong problema. Dito ka gumawa ng research question at nag-state ka ng research problem. Dahil ito ang pinaka-problema, ito yung pinaka-study, dapat dito ka mag-focus. Dahil kung ito ay mali, mare-revise lahat ang mismong study mo or ang thesis output. So, ang introduction, ito yung tinatawag nating rational. So, yung rational, ito ang ating aims at objective. So, ano ba talaga ang layunin mo sa paggawa ng study mo? So, kailangan merong existing literature na nagpapatunay na ito ay nag-exist talaga. At ito ay posible na mapag-aralan. The second part is statement of the problem. States clearly the purpose or interest of the study. So, yung SOP, ito nga lahat ng ginawa mong research questions, sub-questions, yung key variables, papasok dito, ano ba yung independent variables, and then papasok mo din yung control variables. So, dito mo na ipapasok lahat ng kaisang variables sa pagsasama-samahin mo at ano ba talaga dapat ang kailangan i-assess ng bata, anong tool ang kailangang gawin, kung how many ba or frequency ba ang kukunin mo. And then, dahil nga meron tayong tinatawag na beneficiaries, ito yung pinaka-target natin pag tayo ay natapos natin ang ating thesis or research study. Ang target natin ay makapag-contribute doon sa ating society, makapag-contribute doon sa ating pag-aaral, lalo na tayo as a researcher and for future researchers na din. So, significance of the study nga, ito ay for beneficiaries. Nag-address siya ng special problems, nagbe-benefit siya noon, improving economic and health conditions, or even finding solutions to problems encountered in daily life. Okay. Okay, so let us move on how to write a statement of the problem. The questions like, what is the problem statement in research? How to write statement of the problem in research can be answered by looking at the 5 aspects every problem has. So, for example, ano yung mali? Ito yung sinasabi dito na what is wrong. Ano yung mali doon sa study na gusto nating baguhin? Kailan to nag-umpisa? Ito ba yung nag-exist? Kailan to nag-appear? To what extent? How much? How often? I know that because so alam natin, pero ano yung dapat natin pang malaman? Bakit siya ganon? So lahat tayo ay may katanungan na kailangan nating solusyonan. So these are the possible WH questions that we are looking for. So what always defines the defect of the problem at hand and explains why it matters. So ano yung gaps? And then pwede natin ipasok dito yung control variables na age, gender for demographic profile kung siya ay makakasama. Ito na depende doon sa title natin or study. Where define the geological location of the problem. So ito yung tinatawag natin research local. Saan ba talaga yung coverage ng data gathering natin? Anong area? When, so define the history and the pattern of the problem. It clearly and precisely defines the goal of the stated problem and the scope of the project. So when, sabihin, kailan tayo mag-data gathering, when, kailan lalabas yung result nito, and ano yung scope natin ng study base dun sa ating goal, sa ating objective, sa rational, how much. So define the trend of the problem as how many objects are facing the same defect and to what extent. So hanggang saan lang ba? How do I know will help the researcher to identify the standards that he has to meet. So as a researcher, kailangan ito lang yung focus mong key variables. For example, dito ka lang magpo-focus at hindi ka nalalayo. No. Mamaya bibigyan ko kayo ng example. So, writing statement of the problem, it has 3 parts or steps. So first, we have the contextualize the problem. The problem statement should frame your research problem in its particular context and give some background on what is already known about it. So, ibig sabihin, gawa ka muna ng wide readings about this. So, yung literature, ano yung mga theory na mag-support dito. Like for example, kung ito ay about sa emotion or sa behavior or attitude rather ng iyong respondents, meron tayong Bloom's taxonomy na cognitive, affective at psychomotor. Meron din naman tayong mga conditioning nila Ivan Pavlov, B.F. Skinner about doon na theory ng support sa study. And then, dapat ito ay merong concrete details depende sa sitwasyon. For example, where and when does the problem arise? Who does the problem affect? Ibig sabihin, sino-sino mga respondents ang maapektuhan ng problemang to? What attempts have been made to solve the problem? So, those are the practical questions. For the second step, we have show it matters. So, sabihin, tingnan mo yung kahalagahan nito, ipakita mo dapat. So, the problem statement should also address the relevance of the research. Why is it important that the problem is solved? This doesn't mean you have to do something groundbreaking or world-changing. It's more important that the problem is researchable, feasible, and clearly addresses a relevant issue in your field. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan ito ay direct na agad na nakafocus about sa organization, institution, social group, or society. So, to make it clear why your research problem matters, so you can ask yourself as a researcher, ano yung mga ano kaya sa tingin mo kapag hindi na-solve yung research study mo, anong mangyayari? Kapag ba na-solve yung study mo, ano rin yung mangyayari? Dapat may prediction ka ng ganon or assumption. And then, sino ba ang makaka-feel ng mga consequences? Yung mga respondents, yung researchers, yung future researchers. And then, gaano ba kalawak yung kaimportansya ng research study mo? So, doon mo makikita kung meron bang similarities yung research study mo sa ibang research study. So, ganun. Kailangan malawak ang iyong prediction and then malawak yung kahalagahan ng research mo at alam mo dapat. Next. So, for the last step, we have the set your aims and objectives. So, ito yung tinatawag natin na rational o ibig sabihin, ano yung mga layunin talaga natin din sa study na to. So, finally, the problem statement should frame how you intend to address the problem. Your goal should not be to find a conclusive solution, but to seek out the reason behind the problem and propose more effective approaches. So, kailangan ang study mo, ang rational mo ay naka-infinitive forms. Pag sa infinitive form, ito yung may to. For example, to determine the relationship between variables. Ito yung aim mo. And then to explore, to investigate, to experiment. So, the objectives are the concrete steps you will take to achieve the aim. Qualitative methods will be used to identify. I will use surveys to collect. So, ganun yung mga example. And then, using statistical analysis, the research will measure, will measure the differences, the relationship between variables. So, ganun. And then, I have here the sample research. So, yung research title natin ay descriptive method para mas madali lang sa atin na PR2 para sa pang senior high lang. So, effectiveness of watching English films in the communication skills of senior high school students. So, pasok natin yung control variable natin. So, pwede ba dito yung name na kapag demographic profile? So, isipin muna natin na sino-sino ba yung mga nanonood ng mga English films? So, mas madalas ba na babae? So, tingnan natin sa how often. How often muna tayo. So, mas marami kaya ang babae na nanonood kaysa sa lalaki. So, ang lalaki din, ang age din ba ay pwede rin nating ilagay. So, pwede nating makita na ilang percent kaya ng mga mas matatanda, mga age ng 18 to 19 ang nanonood ng mga English films kaysa dun sa mga bata. So, doon natin makikita. Ang name kasi ay optional. So, since optional yung name, hindi na natin siya pwedeng ilagay siya sa demographic profile. At yung tinatawag natin na control variable, di ba? Number 2, so, paano nga ba natin ma-assess tong study na to? So, ayun yung ating research question. So, meron siyang nakikita natin na key variables, di ba? Yung key variables sa communication skills. Yung communication skills, ito yung dependent variable. So, ano nga ba yung mga nakaka-apekto pag tayo nanonood ng English films? Since ito yung naapektuhan ng communication skills, ano yung mga key variables na under nito? So, dyan, paano nga daw ma-assess ng respondents ang panonood ng English films? Meron tayong vocabulary words. Siyempre, sa subtitles dito, makita natin yung mga unfamiliar na hindi natin alam, pero napopronounce nila. 2.2, we have the pronunciation. Siyempre, ma-adapt natin yun habang nanonood. And then 2.3, we have the speaking skills. So, yung speaking skills, doon din na-enhance yung ating communication skills, no? And then number 3, titignan natin yung relationship kasi ito ay isang correlational study. So, is there a significant relationship between watching English films and communication skills? Diba, ang watching English films, ito yung independent variable, while communication skills, ito yung dependent variable. So, titignan natin yung relationship ng dalawa. Pero sa pinaka-complicated na research, kung titignan natin, ito ay hanggang number 3 lang, dahil ito ay parang pang-simple lang para sa ating senior high school students. Pero kung titingnan natin, ito ay kulang pa. Kasi titingnan pa natin yung differences na meron ang demographic profile doon sa respondents assessment na communication skills, at kailangan din natin gumawa ng key variables para sa watching English films. Para hindi tayo malito, less complication lang, dapat doon lang tayo sa pinakamadali. For senior high lang muna tayo. Dahil ito ay matututunan nyo pag kayo ay nag-college na. No? So, that's it for today, guys. So thank you for participation and thank you for watching my discussion for today. So goodbye everyone. See you next meeting, Ignatius.